Welcome to Spiritual Changemakers, the podcast that guides you through tough times with practical tools and inspiring stories. I'm Andreea Tamas, your host and the Sacred Transitions Coach. Join us as we hear from spiritual changemakers who have connected with their higher power and overcame adversity. Whether you are navigating a difficult transition or seeking to deepen your spiritual practice, our podcast provides guidance to help you find magic in the change. Come on this journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation with us and unlock your potential to become your best self. Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to a new podcast episode on Spiritual Changemakers. I am so excited because today we are going to do something different. It's going to be a different kind of episode, and I already feel such a big resonance with Ipek. I hope, do I pronounce your name
Yes,
correctly?
you got it.
Amazing. With Ipek Gray, and I'm just going to introduce her a little bit so you know who we are having a conversation with today. And what is the magic that she is bringing on today on the podcast? So Ipek is the founder of the Born Method, and it's really a modern system for self-understanding and decision-making that blends math, data, and ancient wisdom. Like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. Like when I read about it, I was like, wow, I cannot wait to learn more about it because I'm a geek about these things.
Yes.
And this is built on a patterned formula developed by her mother over 25 years ago in Turkey. And it has been tested across 60,000 sessions. Wow. Like, wow.
Yes,
And
it might honestly be more, but that's the number I go with.
That's the number you could gather. Yeah. And how this method works, the Born method uses the birth dates to decode personal patterns in timing, communication, relationships, and life direction. And it has been a Forbes 30 under 30 honoree with a background in data and social impact. Ipek now works with founders, parents, and high performers who want grounded data informed clarity in their personal and professional lives. And what I see from even from your bio, Ipek, that you are blending so beautiful, no, the data and the woo, like
Exactly.
the spirituality, which is why you are also here right now. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who are very much into data and they need like the logical and they need to understand before they believe. So you took on from this method from your mom. What made you feel like I want to do this, like go on this journey?
Yeah, so thank you for that introduction. I'm so excited to chat with you and share more about the Born Method, and we'll dig into the numbers later too. But this is my mom's legacy. She is actually an orthodontist, a dentist by training, but she's a single mom. I'm an only child, and as I was growing up, so during my formative years, she developed an interest in wanting to learn more about how math, data exists in our daily lives. And in that research, she studied all of the practices we know of now as like astrology, numerology, human design, so all things connected to our birth dates, and then combined research around math, foundational mathematical principles with those other systems that also use the wisdom around numbers. And unintended, but it turned into her main job. She wrote a book about it, and she's coached thousands of people. And as she was developing this, her and our language became numbers. So I grew up with this method. And as you mentioned, my background is in social impact and data, but not until recently, until I had my second son, I decided to bring her legacy to the United States, translate her work from Turkish to the US to English so that I can share this method that has helped so many founders, families, teams, bring a blended approach between rational and spiritual. We don't have to choose one or the other. So this gathers both of them.
And I'm curious, what would you say is like the biggest impact that this method has in people's life?
Yeah, so I have so many personal examples too. Like even as I was growing up, my mom and I talked about how, my numbers show up being a 13-year-old girl for your parent to understand you deeply, to see your needs. So she knew from my numbers that, I may look like this sort of soft-spoken, maybe kind, timid person, but deep down through the numbers, she knew that I was always very interested in traveling, experiencing new things. So I left Turkey to come to the US, but all of that, she was able to support me because she knew those were my needs deep down. And then through client work too, it's just been an amazing tool that people have used in their relationships, for example. In the Born Method, we have a 20-digit code that's unique to individuals, and it shares things around your expectations, how you spend money, how you communicate, how you think, and to know that about your kids or your partner can be incredibly powerful, and it helps you develop daily tools to make the most of yourself, your relationships. And I can share more specific examples as we dive into.
So
Yeah.
Ipek is actually going to demonstrate some like live reading
Yes.
on me. So I'll be the guinea pig here
Yes.
to really see and have an understanding, because I do believe when we offer these like practical, that people can really like hear and understand, oh, this is how it works, this is how it can help me, that they can comprehend it much better and then see how this can benefit them. So guys, you are in for a treat to actually learn more about me
Yes.
as I'm gonna learn more about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for being open to doing this.
Yes, I'm an open book. I'm an open
Yes.
book.
And we can see that from your numbers. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
amazing.
But I'll start by just saying that, like, everything I'm about to share, the part of this method that's connecting to data is we look at how each of your 20 numbers connect to each other. And those patterns have come up in history and current events and people that we know. So I always try to give examples from daily lives. And at any point, I think it could be helpful to the listeners too. Please let me know, like, hey, let's talk more about the meaning of that number. Or let's give another example. And I can pull things from history or from famous people and share those with you. So we'll start with your birthday. Do you feel okay if I shared your birthday as like a starting point?
Yeah.
So December 5th, 1989, right? And in the Born Method, we use each of those, like your day, the month, and the year is very important too. And just by those three numbers, we have a unique set of 726 combinations. So even your 20-digit code is one of 726. So there's a huge variation. And I'm going to look at your numbers through the lens of what feels important to you right now, which you shared with me prior to this conversation, but just through the lens of like maximizing your timing of things, your decision making, how to grow your influence and your work. So I'll share things around that. So you are at the very high level, someone we call a dominant hunter in the Born Method. And that means your 20 numbers, even before we zoom in, it's the makeup of someone who's high achieving. It's very important for you to be successful in everything that you do, even if it's something as little as like meeting friends for lunch, for yourself into it. You'll want to pick a place that's valuable to everyone, that's, easy for everyone to get to. And this includes your work endeavors too. You want everything that you do to be good quality. And dominant hunters and you'll always find something to fight towards. It's that kind of energy. Like you won't want to sit still. And professionally and personally too, you'll always look for success or more you can do in your life. And this actually specifically for you comes up in what we call your career work numbers and also your happiness numbers too. So your work numbers are 832, and the meaning of that is 3 2s, and this comes up in companies or like countries with this number too. You're hardworking, but you'll also make something, even the hardest thing to do, you'll make it look easy. The way you do it finds practical ways of doing things. And people will think that you've done it before. Even if it's your first time, you do it with ease. And that's because A32s, you know how to look at things as a whole. You're not lost in the detail always. You can picture things from above. And please feel free to, say, let's stop and talk more about that because there's so much information I'll keep sharing.
Yeah, I can imagine. And let's see how can we also address this and bring also to the audience, to the listeners.
So one of the best ways to use our career and happiness numbers is to see its connection to one another. So a lot of times people feel burnout, conflict, or this sort of itch to do something different professionally. So when we zoom into the numbers, and for example, for you, you happen to have the same numbers, but reflected in opposite ways. So your career numbers are 832 and your happiness numbers are 382. That means you might always constantly feel this push towards changing what you do. And that's how you move through life. So when I share this with listeners, clients, it can be very helpful because some people, if you have that urge of, but I want to do something different, we can see that as something bad, almost something like, why won't I just feel comfortable where I am? Or why won't I be okay with doing one career? But it's to those people, I always say, it's in your superpower is to constantly change. So it's not a bad thing. And you're gonna to limit yourself to doing one career, to being in one place, to live in just one certain way is actually pigeonholing you. You're meant to do more. And that alone can be a very sort of liberating point of view for some people. Eye-opening. The example I give here actually, and because she's all over the news obviously right now, is Taylor Swift has the same, her career numbers and her happiness numbers. It's different than yours, but it's switched in the same way. So she's someone that always talks about openly, like, she never finds the work enough. She always needs to push herself to do something differently through a different lens. So if this is something that exists in people, like you said, it can be incredibly eye-opening and liberating to be in peace with that and accept that.
I'm curious, for people, can they find out these numbers on their own, or they only find them out when they have a reading with you?
So this one through a reading, because that's the patented, like, proprietary information. The formula is something my mom found. But I do workshops online and in person where I share certain calculations. Like one of them is our life purpose number. And that is calculated through your month and your year. So when we add those two numbers, we get a 1-digit number, or we reduce it to 1 digit. And for example, for you, it's a 3. And that's your lucky number. That's your life purpose number. And that can share a lot about what you're here to do and how you move through life. So if anyone listening has, if you're born in December, that's 1 plus 2 is 3. And then you add each number in your year. So 1989 adds up to 9. When you add 1 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9. And those numbers together make the number 3, and that's how you come up with it. I know it sounds
Okay.
complex, but, and for example, for you, what that means is that you're here to reorganize things. Your life purpose is to fix things that are broken, to bring a different perspective. And oftentimes, for example, 3s have a childhood experience where they can be very close to their family, but there's something they want to change. So as a kid, you may have thought, I want to do things differently when I grow up. I want
Mm.
things to look differently. And that almost becomes a muscle you build as you grow up, to an approach you bring to your work, to your friendships, to your personal life, as I want to fix things. I want to bring order to things.
And that's part, would you say that's part of why, for example, for me, I tend to see how you said what is broken, what's missing, what, because I tend
Yeah,
to see those things like, oh, this is missing.
exactly. Like life purpose 3s oftentimes go to jobs, to partners, or houses that require fixing, because like you'll innately get pulled into those things.
Mhm.
And the fear, for example, for 3s can be for their plan to not work out. But 3s can also find their superpowers and reach their life goal of bringing order to the world by overcoming that fear, which is by accepting that there's other ways of doing things. Like when you are at peace with there being different approaches to something, or being okay with another person's plans, that's when you'll be able to find yourself in alignment and in peace. So it could be just like even that one number, life purpose number, can be incredibly helpful in sort of self-understanding and self-acceptance for
And
folks.
And I'm curious, like, are you able just in one session to give people like a big overview about their purpose, their life?
Yes, just in 60 minutes and just by their birth dates, I can share how you communicate, what you expect from the world, your life purpose, your career. And then I think one of the most special parts about it is that we can then look at your year's numbers and how it connects to you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So like 2025 for you is an 8088 year. And we all have, you know, years with different energies, and we often feel that, but sometimes it's hard to explain it. Like we all have years where we can't seem to get anything done, or we're more introspected.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are years where we're like nonstop working.
Yeah.
So a tool like this can be really helpful in using that year's potential in the best way possible. Like for you, 8 can bring changes around rootedness, finances. It can mean incredible gain, and it can also mean loss, but loss is sometimes required for new things to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, and the guidance that I give to clients, or like someone who is listening, is if you feel like you're going through this year of change, things that are around rootedness, it could be where you live, how you work. Um, the best thing to do is to do less instead of add more, because there's more strength that can come in an 8 year from saying that things are enough, that you don't have to always do more than enough to get more. And sitting in peace can sometimes bring more strength, or like more opportunities, whether it's business, relationship, anything. So like for you, the biggest word for this year would be deciding when closures should happen, the word enough. Like reminding yourself, I'm enough.
So interesting because I'm just going through a very big closure right now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually decided to sell my home here in the
Yeah.
US,
Yeah.
and it's a very big
Yeah.
transition that I'm going through right now.
And did you feel like was this planned, or do you feel like this was sort of this year all of a sudden?
No,
Right.
it was all of the sudden.
Yeah, and I think that's what's amazing. Like, we can in life make all these plans, and I think it's not fortune telling, it's sort of seeing the potential of numbers, but then things will come to you in years like this where you're like, I had no plans to do it.
Mhm.
And you can try running away from it, but it'll come to you. But what it means is that for you, next year is, I have your numbers in front of me here. It's going to be a year of traveling, exploring new things, meeting new people. It's a 595 year. So it's lots of talking, conversations, freedom. So like this year has to happen so that you can have that year next year waiting for you.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. I can definitely see how having this information and connected it to your numbers and your date of birth can, I would say, alleviate some of the things and
Right.
bring some peace, because I would say even like in my relationship, sometimes my partner was like, "Oh, you always look at what's missing."
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as if he would made me feel wrong
Right,
for
exactly.
looking at what's missing. And I was like, yeah, it's not like I'm looking because I'm focusing on the scarcity. That's not the thing.
Yeah.
It's just that's where my awareness automatically goes.
Yes, exactly. I had a client who's a mom and she has a 5 there. And fives, their life purpose, for example, is to bring freedom and to also live independently. So she was feeling so bad that she didn't want to full time be at home with her son,
Mm.
who she loves so much. But when I told her, like, yes, like fives rarely want to be in one place with just their family. And that's not because it's a bad thing. It's just you're meant to explore the world with your child. Like, don't force yourself to be indoors, spending all the time one on one, because that's not where you'll feel alignment or happiness for you.
Mhm.
And I think, just like you said, for her, it was one of those moments of, yes, like I was feeling bad as a
Mm.
bad mother, but I'm not meant to be doing all of it.
Yeah.
Like your life purpose is not that.
Yeah, so it's truly what I hear. It doesn't only help you understand yourself better, but it's also how you interact in relationships and how you are showing up in relationships and accepting. I feel like accepting yourself more.
Exactly. And, when you know these things about your partners too, so if you knew that your partner has a 3, you stop taking it more personally and start seeing it as, right, like his or her approach to life is through the lens of bringing order, fixing. And it's not
Mhm.
because they're trying to fix you, it's just your approach to life.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. And what else? What is a part there that you have in the reading that you could share that would also help the audience understand better how this works and how this can support them?
Yeah. So I think another way that people have found this to be really useful is like each individual number has its goal, but another one has been our healing and happiness number.
Hmm.
So, for example, for you, it's an 8, and it can feel very hard for you to sit still. Like you'll always want to do something.
Yeah.
Even if you're watching TV, you'll want to watch something where you learn something new. Like you won't just want to empty
Yeah.
watch it. And this can be really helpful to know about yourself, like on your days where you feel down, you need to recharge and re-energize. You do the things that number is giving you guidance on, which is like
Mhm.
read a book that's teaching you something or watch TV that's showing you something new. So I would say, and I know it's hard without knowing the calculation, but for people to sort of find these very daily moments that they take for granted, it could be a sign of what they actually like doing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be very little, like the type of book
Mhm.
you read or the type of walks you take. And that can be telling you about your healing number and the data behind it.
Yeah, that makes so much sense because it's true. I do have a very hard time being still, staying
Yeah,
still. I love the movement. I love change. You mentioned that at the beginning,
right.
like change. I feel like I'm thriving on change. It's like change has to happen. Like my soul dies if every day is the same.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you need to change it up. And like for you, you also have mind numbers that are 224, which in like ancient math and in some religions also, it's the combination of female empowerment. So like
Mm,
as you think about your career, your next steps, your mind thinks through this lens, and you'd be great at supporting women, whether it's with
mm,
female entrepreneurs, neighbors, podcast listeners. Like you have this innate power of speaking to women, especially. So this can also just give us some almost business and social and personal tips on like what to double down on, what to double click
mm.
on that is already in you.
Yeah, and how about the shadows? Like
Yes.
how about those parts?
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's actually so of the 20 numbers, 10 are the tip of the iceberg, and 10 are we flip it over, but it's 10 are the shadow numbers that give us data around the other side of the numbers that you can use.
Yeah, I would love to hear some of like the shadow because
Yeah.
it's amazing to hear like all of these things, but we all have the flip side as well. And I want to hear how knowing and understanding your shadows through these numbers, how it can help you integrate them more.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll use the life purpose number. So we shared that yours is 3. And in the born method, we only use numbers. The core numbers are 1 through 9. So the flip side of 3 is 6. Your shadow number is 6. So when you take it's 9 minus 3, which is again your life purpose number, gives us the shadow of it. And the shadow 6 is telling you in moments of where you have a hard time maybe following some other people's plans or where you're focused on fixing things, find the 6 in you. And the 6 symbolizes beauty, comfort, slowing down.
Mm.
And those are the things that you can use in moments where you feel this tension with your life purpose or you feel certain patterns coming up, negative patterns. What's also in you is your shadow, and the 6 there tells you to take a break, look at the pretty parts of that mess. Like
Mhm.
an example I give to clients is think of like a Jenga tower. You're playing with it, and there's like one little piece that's moving. But if you try to fix it, the whole thing will fall apart.
Yeah,
So, like, try to see the beauty in the mess,
in a mess.
and that's when you'll find peace as a 3. But everyone's shadow numbers are different, and that also gives us guidance because the things that we run away from are the things that, as you know from many different practices, are the things that also give us a message
Mhm.
about what we need to overcome
Yeah.
and learn.
Yeah, and what I'm curious and what comes up right now, Ipek, is like, okay, someone does a reading, and throughout my life, I have to be honest, I've done a lot of readings,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a lot on everything you can imagine, because I'm the one that likes the change to explore and so on.
yeah.
So I've done everything: Akashic records, human design, gene keys, like things that probably people didn't even hear about. But what I also found it, I would say, a little bit challenging afterwards, is that it can be so much information
Hmm. Mhm.
that is like my head now is spinning. That is so much. How do we take afterwards that information and actually implement it and apply it in our day-to-day life?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the way I've approached it is because there's so much information in my one-on-ones, I So none of the language I use is spiritual. I try to only give day-to-day examples. So with you, for example, I shared that like the power of your healing number 8. So in moments where you need to recharge, go watch a informational documentary.
Mhm.
Like that's something that's easy to remember. A lot of the times spiritual guidance, therapy, coaching can feel very high level. And
Mhm.
that's, I think, part of where the overwhelm comes from. So I bring that sort of the data lens and I try to give tangible examples to clients so that they can immediately remember, oh, this is what Ipek said, or this is what we talked about. But I think the other part is to internalize it. A lot of clients, I've asked them and they want to share what they hear in the sessions with their partner, with someone close to them, because oftentimes listening to a recording of it or looking at the notes together, the reactions are like, oh my God, how did she know that? Or that's so true about you. So having someone else validate it can be a helpful way to reconnect to the information. Like, oh yes, I tried to fix things. And if your partner says, yes, like I never thought of it that way, and now I see you through a different lens, you'll internalize that and carry that as like a useful information.
Yeah, and for you, Ipek, like you do the reading, which is a one-off offer, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you also work with people like on the longer periods of time if they want to yeah, like have that support and the help to integrate what they have heard during the reading?
Yeah. So I think I shared a little bit about it in the beginning, but even though this is a very personal approach, I left my career in social impact to do this. It's been less than a year.
Oh
And I've
wow.
had more than 200 clients, but for me, it's the early days of sharing this method. And I just started offering continued support because, like you said, people want to, life throws different things at us. Maybe people want to rethink something through the lens of numbers. So people can come saying like, oh, I just have this interview. When should I schedule it for? Let's look at the numbers. Or my company's going to launch a new product. What's the best day for it? And we can do more specific questions aligned with your numbers. Like, I want to move. When's a good month to move where I'll have the least amount of friction? So I offer that kind of personalized guidance after the foundational session.
Okay, amazing, amazing. This has been so interesting and yeah, so beautiful to hear how this method works. Is there anything else specific from the reading and so on that you would like to share before we wrap up that you would feel it would also help the audience to have a bigger and wider view?
Sure, yes. I would say I think the biggest thing about the Born method and any other tool, whether it's therapy or something spiritual like astrology, I think they can be incredibly valuable as an alternative way to describe things that we know and we feel, but we haven't yet put the words to. So the biggest feedback I get, and I think the place where the Born method is most useful, is it's kind of like a user manual or like a roadmap. So you don't have to, it's guidance and you can use it whenever you want to from your day to day to 5 years from now when you meet someone new. You can say, hey, I have a 3. So this is how I'm going to, it just gives that additional language. And I think everyone can benefit from alternative tools like this.
Expansion.
Yeah. Down. Yeah, I would say like there's numbers and data all around us. We use it all the time from checking the weather to timing certain events. So, just paying attention to that information and a lot of what we seek to solve, I think the information is already within us. And
Yeah.
personal data is just one way to bring that out.
Yes, and if you are still here and if you still listen, that means there is a curiosity in your heart, in your soul about this method. So make sure you go and reach out to Ipek. I'm gonna add her information in the show notes, so it's gonna be easy to find her. And thank you so much, Ipek, for coming on and for sharing this beautiful method with all of us.
Thank you so much. I loved your questions, and it was so nice to talk to you and get to share this with everyone listening. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Reach out and let us know what was your biggest takeaway, what you have enjoyed from this episode, and stay connected. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of spiritual changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self, and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.